You're listening to The Paul Higgins Show, where ambitious tech consultants come to unlock their potential. After 18 years as a global leader, I launched several businesses, culminating in a successful exit. I'm sharing what I learned, plus what's working now from mentoring tech consultants. You will hear leaders within our industry to help you build a business you love that allows you to do what you want. If you are looking for immediate cash flow wins to fuel your growth, go to our free ebook at paulhigginsmentoring.com/roadmap. You are doing a sales CRM implementation and the marketing team are using a different tool. Now, you know that you would love to see from a total company point of view that all integrated, but you know your swim lane and you're not quite sure what to do. Hello, this is Paul Higgins and welcome to episode 451 of the Paul Higgins Show. In the podcast today, I talked to Justin Crawford from the automation company, and he's about helping you bridge that gap, making sure that there's data not just across sales marketing, but also across service, and making sales and marketing in particular happy, which is never, or it's no mean feat. And if you'd like to see Justin in person, please go to our YouTube channel, Paul Higgins Mentoring, to watch Justin and I. Justin Crawford is the CEO and the founder of the automation company, and is a recognized leader in marketing, automation, and RevOps. And he's consulted across a dozen Fortune 1000 companies to optimize their digital marketing strategies. His journey in the industry is marked by innovation solutions and transformative approaches, aiding companies that are staples in your household across the nation. He mentions a few of them in the interview. He's Pepperdine University alumni, and Justin transitioned from a promising start at TransPlace to his entrepreneurial career and success. His first venture, Social Excess, grew to be one of Dallas's largest web design agencies, and that set the stage for the next enterprise, which is now the automation company. As an industry expert, Justin blends his vast experience with a personal commitment to continuous learning and community service, making him a valuable asset to any discussion on marketing, automation, and business innovation. And that's what you're going to get today. So I'll now hand you over to Justin from automationco.com. Great to have you here, Justin.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, really excited today to talk about marketing automation and how you can help you who's listening or watching this. But why don't we kick off with who your ideal clients are and what problems you love to solve for them?
Sure. Yeah. So thanks for having me here, Paul. Happy to be here. Our primary client is usually mid to large size companies. For the most part, they're usually looking to scale marketing, sales, or service operations through automation in some form or fashion. Usually we'll have a dedicated marketing, sales, or ops team, right? But there's some struggle that's happening with the manual processes, and the real reason it's come to the surface is because in some form or fashion it's hindering their efficiency and or hindering their growth. Our clients are usually really eager to adopt new technology, right? So they may not have a tech stack or a platform, but we know that we need a CRM, or we know that we need a marketing automation platform. So they're really eager to adopt that technology, or they've identified a problem and maybe they were open to shopping around for some other platforms that could better fit their needs. Specifically, it's usually HubSpot, Salesforce, and then some of those other more sales ops tools that we can support, the Gongs, the SalesLoft, the Outreaches. That's usually kind of the typical model or makeup of our clients.
Yeah, and look, I know automation and marketing automations, sort of had a bit of a bad rap of late, that people are saying that, we've gone too far. Automation has gone too far and it's taken out the human side, and it's got to be more relationship based. And, you get a lot of people talking about that. But what's your definition of marketing automation? Like, give us some examples of what you do, which adds value rather than sort of the noise of marketing automation's, gone, it's finished, it's no longer working, which we know that's not the case, but you hear that a lot.
I think the big thing is we help organizations just consolidate those disjointed tech stacks. So a lot of times it's about how the data is flowing. Where I will say automation does add benefit is it allows us to think more strategically about how we want things to be updated. I'll give a prime example of how I think automation company can help, but none of this works without that human backing behind it, right? We work with a company now that they have several different business units and divisions within those business units. In this case, each division is using a different platform, kind of through acquisition or just through free reign to purchase whatever platform they see fit. And what it's kind of resulted in is just inconsistent data across the board. How we leverage the automation is to run operational flows or processes that consolidate the data and get it to the single source of truth, the CRM, in a way that's universally digestible or understandable to the entire org and leadership across the different divisions. One prime example how using data to influence the automation can really help with freeing up the team's time and helping them be more efficient in their decision making.
Yeah, brilliant. And so for the work that you do, I know that you do some custom coding, et cetera. We'll talk about it in a moment, but the work that you do, how much of it is, used to help with the, improve the data flow internally so that people have got the information to talk to the customer versus, sending out automated emails, as an example, to the end client?
Yeah, really good question. One prime example is, you have a database or an organization has a database with hundreds of thousands of contacts or accounts. For whatever reason, they may want to allow for duplicates, and in other instances, they may want to call out the duplicates, and then the system should automatically merge them. So we don't run into the issue of maybe two salespeople working the same account at once. So that's an example. Internally, having those automations set up that can automatically identify duplicates and merge them, or handle those in an expected way beforehand without human intervention, is a way to just improve efficiency internally. But to also answer your question earlier, we talk about automation and personalization. I know we've all got the email where it's like, test first name, how are you doing today, right? So obviously that's an error in the personalization, but when it's done right, I actually think automation can help us better personalize at scale. We have all this information on intent and data from the contacts in our database. If we're properly leveraging that to send them communications that are relevant just to them, I think it actually can create a more personalized experience than only relying on kind of the one-to-one manual touch. I love a good handwritten note, but at some point, your volume is just going to outweigh how much you can just write it out by hand, right? Being able to still keep it personal and thoughtful, but at scale is what marketing automation platforms and automation, even through CRMs, allow organizations to do.
Right. And, I spoke about custom codings, how much are you using tools like Make or Tray or whatever to do integrations versus, having to custom code it yourself?
That's a great question and point. We leverage those tools a lot, right? So middlewares, they have really been great for what we do. And that, to your point before, it took a really specific skill set to be able to accomplish those type of integrations. With Make.com or Zapier, we're able to now have those native integrations built out for us. On one hand, it allows us to quickly implement these new changes. But I think even the bigger win of those type of tools or platforms is that it now enables our clients to be able to know enough to be dangerous inside of those tools and kind of self-service some of those integrations once the project has ended. So I think that's where the real value add has been, is as a client now, I'm able to go in there and manipulate the integration as needed.
Yeah. And has AI helped you to be more efficient with doing those integrations, or is that still to come?
I smirked when you said that because, yeah, AI has helped, I'd say, across the board, specifically with these integrations as well, whether it's getting really into the technical space of how would I code this, give me the script to accomplish this. You give it the details, it can actually write out the script for you. We've had several successful projects where we leaned on AI to kind of be the tiebreaker when we couldn't, figure out a certain issue, but also even when kind of scoping out these type of integration projects for the client, kind of giving all of the transcription from our discovery call and the project call to AI to properly scope it out. Of course, we were able to do it, but it allows us to easily convey that to a client in a way that's going to be digestible and understandable for them. So I think that's where AI has really helped in communicating what a project roadmap can look like.
Yeah. And what's your preferred tool for AI? What are you using?
You may mess up my sponsorship. I may want to get sponsored by one soon, but no, I'd say the one I find myself still using and still kind of holding on to. Maybe it's because it's the first one. I really like ChatGPT. They have the new 4.0 but Gemini is really, we use Workspace internally. And I'd say if there's anyone out there that's using Google Workspace for kind of your suite, you're using Docs and Sheets, Gemini actually works really well because it is a Google product, embedding itself into the different features and functionality of the Google Workspace. So I think that's a new one that we've been exploring. We have it for our entire team. I think it's made us a lot more efficient in summarizing and building documentation, even sending out some internal emails following client calls as well.
Yeah, great. And I know the reason I originally got in contact with you, because I know that, I've got a lot of partners, whether it be particularly Salesforce is the one that certainly came to mind, was that they're really good at doing the sales CRM component of it. But then when they got to the marketing automation and the service automation, an existing client might have a different tool. So they weren't using Salesforce, they're using HubSpot, which is, what you often see from the marketing team. Sales are using Salesforce, marketing using HubSpot. And that's why I sort of reached out to you, because I know there's that gap. Tell us maybe an example of how you've worked with a Salesforce partner to bridge that gap between the two different platforms.
I think you outlined it perfectly, right? The organizations may be using Salesforce, which is, still holds the lion's share from a CRM standpoint of the market. So you have a client that's using Salesforce, that's the org-wide tool, central source of truth. But then marketing, and I think also we're learning that it can also be leveraged by other groups, but say marketing is using a separate platform, a HubSpot or Marketo. Where we would come in is we actually help just ensure that that data is properly flowing into the CRM. One kind of big no-no that we'll come into a lot of times is data just flowing directly into the CRM. And that CRM data needs to be really sacred. We really need to keep that data clean. We introduce this idea of nurturing and qualifying all of the leads and contacts through our marketing automation platform first. It introduces the marketing automation platform as more than just an email service provider. It's more than that now. It's actually our way to clean, qualify, score, and grade prospects, nurture them until they're ready to be qualified, all in an effort to improve that marketing to sales handoff. From a marketing standpoint, we want sales to be really confident in the leads we're handing over. One way to do that is to have a really rigorous and robust qualification process and a nurturing process. Also, from the other standpoint in sales, it allows marketing to improve the value of leads that it's getting in front of sales, because you do have those additional tools that come with the automation with the HubSpot or Marketo, different omni-channel ways to reach your audience.
And typically on an integration project, it might have some custom coding. What sort of time frame are we looking at? How long does it normally take?
It's really going to depend on the final deliverables, right? If it's integrating, the most common one is I have Salesforce, we're standing up HubSpot or one of those sales ops tools. Typically, we like to ask for, depending on the complexity, somewhere between 30 to 60 days, closer to 60 days if you're talking multiple platforms. But if it's a one-to-one, usually within 30 days, we're able to stand up HubSpot and have it synced with Salesforce. HubSpot is kind of being the most common example. Obviously, you have account engagement as well, which is a Salesforce product, Salesforce Marketing Cloud. But I'd say that sweet spot is usually going to fall somewhere between 30 to 60 days for us at least.
Yeah, the examples you see the most is Salesforce and HubSpot. I don't know, I mentioned that, but is that what you're seeing from working with different partners?
It is, yeah. I'd say 70% of the projects we get, if it is a HubSpot project, that organization will be using Salesforce as their primary CRM. We've seen a lot of shifts from HubSpot, companies using all HubSpot to Salesforce and vice versa. So we've been seeing an interesting shift back and forth, I will say, with HubSpot trying to be more of a all-inclusive CRM. It has opened up the conversation more at the enterprise level to looking into HubSpot. Prior, it was you use HubSpot to a certain point. When you got this big, you use Salesforce. I still think that's the case. At a certain point, companies still need the complexity or the openness that Salesforce offers. I will say that gap is starting to be closed to where companies are more comfortable using HubSpot as a complementary tool with Salesforce, knowing that it has the capabilities that Salesforce also has now, and it's not just a marketing tool.
Yeah, and I'm going to put you on the spot here. You don't have to answer this question, but from your experience, HubSpot versus Marketing Cloud, what are some of the pros and cons of the two?
I think it's pretty similar to what I just described in that. Here's an example I like to use. I would liken Marketing Cloud to buying a 10-acre lot.
Yeah.
And all the tools you need to build your dream, Disneyland, right? I would liken HubSpot to more of buying a mansion and it's fully furnished for you. So it's not as big as that 10-acre lot, but it's fully furnished. It's
Yeah.
really easy to get around. So that's how I kind of liken it to. HubSpot's easier for adaptability, I'd say. But if you're dealing with really complex processes, there could be some cases where HubSpot may not be able to do everything you needed to do. And naturally, the next place to look would be Salesforce Marketing Cloud.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the great thing is we're spoiled by choice. I know that, and certainly at the moment, we're recording this in 2024, where there's been a bit of a push to consolidate stacks because, I think during COVID, they sort of bloated and that consolidation. Are you seeing that? And if you are, how's that sort of impact your clients?
So one, prime example is we work with, one of the largest food delivery companies in the world, and they kind of had a similar situation. COVID time happened, really aggressive with hiring. That came with new tech stacks, new recommendations, and what they found is these tools are great, and we're using them for how each different division or department needs to use the tools. But when we talk about overall efficiency of the organization, we see that happening us all under one roof or one platform. And I did see that's where we started to see some of that scaling back to say, hey, we wanted all these different tools for all these different things. That in combination with the platforms now being able to do more, right? Salesforce has been aggressively acquiring other companies that can now enable it to do more. HubSpot's introducing new hubs. I've seen across the board clients looking more to how can we consolidate and get the most out of our platform. We are a HubSpot shop, or we are a Salesforce shop, and we want to build ourselves within the Salesforce ecosystem. I think we've seen a lot more of that since 2020, 2021.
Yeah, fantastic. And as far as, Salesforce and what they're doing with AI versus HubSpot and AI, what's your perspective? You're across both, who's winning that game at the moment?
I'd say I both consider them still kind of beta, in that I think we're still trying to determine who the real winner is. I think they're both just scratching the surface. From my experience, I think Salesforce was a little earlier in that lane than HubSpot was. I think they both have some useful tools, but if it were me, I still think they have some catching up to do both in terms of what some of these third-party tools can do. I think you still may find third-party tools that can meet your AI needs better than what's inside the tools, but I don't see that being the case for long.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Well, just a reminder, we're listening to Justin Crawford, episode 541, and he's from automationco.com. So what we're going to do is just take a moment to thank our sponsors, Justin, and then we'll come back for the rapid fire. Ever spotted your dream client on LinkedIn only to find yourself bogged down in tedious data transfer at the expense of building that critical relationship? Say goodbye to manual tasks and hello to efficiency with Surfy, S-U-R-F-E. Surfy transforms you from a virtual assistant into a sales pro by seamlessly capturing, syncing, and enriching contacts from LinkedIn into your preferred sales platform, be it Salesforce, HubSpot, Pipedrive, Copper, or even Google Sheets, all in one single click. Imagine reclaiming those precious hours spent on data entry and redirecting them towards nurturing valuable connections and closing deals, which we all love to do. With Surfy, it's not just a dream, it's your new reality. Ready to invest your sales time where it truly matters? Try Surfy today by visiting our resource page at paulhigginsmentoring.com/resources and clicking on Surfy. Elevate your sales game with Surfy because your success starts after the click. Ready for the rapid fire, Justin?
Let's do it.
All right, fantastic. So the first thing is, what are the daily habits that you do to help scale Automation Co?
For me, it's consistency and discipline for me. And the prime example is every day I try to touch all of my team members, even if that's not realistic, right? Some days I'm not going to be able to get in contact with everyone, but that's still a goal that I strive for. Really look to meet with everyone from the team, get a read on how they're feeling, just making sure building a culture of just inclusivity and a good workable environment.
Fantastic. And where do you go to learn more about scaling Automation Co?
I love LinkedIn, so I love having conversations with colleagues and just kind of understanding what they're doing, what's working, what's not working, getting outside of the house. I take industry conferences and expos and trade shows. Those are really great places for networking, but then also kind of learning industry trends.
Fantastic. If we could grant you one wish, what would that be?
If I could have one wish, I'd love to be able to predict market trends with pinpoint accuracy. Just to know and be able to proactively adapt our strategies and offerings to be able to stay ahead of the curve and just provide cutting edge solutions for our clients. I'd love to always be at the forefront of kind of what's new and being able to provide and optimize those services for our clients first.
Great. And what do you know now that you wish you had known at the start when you launched Automation Code?
That's a great question. Where do I start? But no, the one thing would be really invest in a strong company culture. I wish I would have invested in a strong company culture earlier. Talent is the driving force behind any growing and scaling company. So just fostering, supportive, and collaborative environment where people want to come in and work and everyone's happy and loves to do what they do. I think that's something I would have really put more emphasis on earlier, and I'm so happy that we're doing that now.
Brilliant. Well, Justin, it's been great having you on. If you are looking for someone that's going to help you with that automation across, marketing and service, as he said, and really helping, link all that data together, and you're going in for a point project, but you can see the opportunity, certainly reach out to Justin. All the links will be in the show notes, and the website is automationco.com. So Justin, thanks for coming on and sharing your wisdom today.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot, Paul, for having me.
That was a great interview with Justin. I know that he's moving house, so his mic wasn't with him, so the sound quality wasn't as good as he would like, but I hope you got to listen to the main points. I think his thing around data and cleaning the data before importing it across from the sales and the marketing, I think is so true, and there's, a real nuance to that. And depends what jurisdiction you're working in. I think it's really important to get that right. And also liked how he assessed the AI capabilities of two of the key players, Salesforce and HubSpot. Reach out to Justin on LinkedIn and thank him. But more importantly, ask him questions, right? He actually, post the interview, spoke about he would like me to do more technical. I'm not technical, but Justin is. And if you've got technical questions, certainly reach out to him. Also mention to peers. So you may know people that are after skills like Justin has. Certainly send them the interview. That would be great. And also, as a reminder, you can watch Justin and I at the YouTube channel, which is Paul Higgins Mentoring. I'll see you next time on the Paul Higgins Show. Time for action. Let me know what you implemented from the show. I promise to respond. Plus, get the Tech Consultants Roadmap at paulhigginsmentoring.com/roadmap.